Good day to everybody present in this meeting. We are Team Sabog and today we're going to present the system that we've created with the use of Vue.js and Laravel LiveWire. Last semester, we learned how to use LiveWire. After doing so, we learned how to use Inertia and Laravel. This modular, we were taught as to how we can do programs in Vue.js. With this being said, we were able to learn different aspects of the said framework. Because of this, we know that in using LiveWire, we can create dynamic and flexible interfaces. However, we also know how efficient it is to use Vue.js because of Vuex and its components. Thus, we decided to combine both of these frameworks to be able to learn something new and to be able to create a function while combining both forces of the framework. To make it short, we wanted to apply what we learned in Vue.js to our existing knowledge in LiveWire. Through this method, we were able to create more complex methods and functions because of the fact that we are knowledgeable enough in using LiveWire, and we also know how to create complex forms and functions with the use of Vue.js. This way, we can combine both frameworks while maintaining its dynamics as a website. Before everything else, I'm going to discuss what type of system we created for this course. We created a website called COVID Vaccine Inventory System, or also known as CVIS, which will be able to help municipal head administrators to manage their stocks efficiently. The group believes that this system will be able to give help to our frontliners and municipality administrators to gain more control in organizing and managing COVID-related products. So CVIS is an inventory management system for COVID-19 related products like vaccines, face masks, and other important medical equipment. The group will only be focusing on one location, which is San Pedro, Laguna. Anyway, the system will offer 3 different sides, 1 for the super admin and 2 for the municipal managers. The super admin role is given to the head administrator of the municipality. The functions available to them aren't limited. On the other hand, the manager role will be given to the city hall managers and mobile center managers. In San Pedro, you can get vaccinated in the city hall or you can go to a mobile center which hops from barangay to barangay to do vaccinations. However, the main office of the mobile centers are located in a mall called Robinson's Galleria. This is why we think that this system will be super helpful to them, most especially for the mobile center managers. The managers, on the other hand, have a very limited access to the modification features of the system. Let's start with login. This is an admin site made to be used by a certain city, which is why we removed the registration page of the system. However, we created an admin beforehand to be able to demonstrate how the email verification works. As you can see, once you try to log into an unverified account, you will be redirected to a page which asks you to verify your account. Once it has been verified, you can continue to your page. Now let's go on and log out of the account to log into the admin page. First, let's try the login attempts. As you can see, it works. Now let's try to forget password. After doing all the procedures stated, we were able to reset the password and log into the admin side of the system.
Now that we're here, let's try to enable the 2FA. As you can see, there's a card that displays a QR code which allows you to download Google Authenticator on your device. After downloading the said application, the account can have 2-factor authentication. As you can see, we have already enabled it. And because of that, once you log out of your account and log in again, you'll have to enter the code before you can proceed. So this is the dashboard view. You will see the same thing on the other side. However, the super admin can see all of the generated reports. On the other hand, the branches can only see the information related to their branches. Thus, the reports generated depend on the role that they hold. For example, City Hall managers can only access information assigned and made in the City Hall. Same thing applies to the mobile vaccine centers. Anyway, the dashboard view can generate summary, daily, weekly, and monthly reports. Summary reports pertains to the total number of reports made. The dashboard also displays the 5 most recent products inserted by the super admin in the database. Let's move on to the activity logs. As you can see, we can monitor all of the activity done by all of the administrators and managers in the system. It can also record what the managers did in their side of the system. We can click on this button to be able to show more information about the activity. Here, we can create, update, or delete an admin of your chosen branch. The super admin has the choice of choosing a branch for the newly created admin. However, the managers doesn't have one. Thus, if you're a mobile vaccine center manager, the employee that you're going to create in your side of the system will automatically be an employee of the same branch. Let me demonstrate as to how we can practice CRUD in the employee section. Pending request is a section made to handle the stack requests made by the managers on their side of the system. Here we can either fulfill or deny the request. However, I will skip this part first. I will elaborate on this section more later. The category, brands, and sizes are categories that are necessary to be filled up to be able to create a product in the inventory. If one table is empty, we cannot create a product because of the fact that we use Vuex props and components to make it work. These tables are connected to the products table. They are needed to be able to fill up a form in the product section. We use Vuex components and props to be able to incorporate these components to the products, create and update section. I'll show you later. Now let's demonstrate CRUD functions of these categories.
This is the main inventory of the system. It is indeed a very important aspect of the system because of all the functions. As you can see, we can do CRUD. We can click on show to see the product in full description, and we can also generate a report and print it. First, let's try updating one, then I will delete it. As you can see, it works. After that, let's try creating one. Now let's discuss the incorporation of Vuex. As you can see, Vuex was detected in the system. Thus, we can click on F12 and click on Vuex. Here we can see all of the components that our database currently has. These information are treated as props in our system, making the system more efficient and faster to use. Moreover, Vue and Vuex will enable our application to store and share data across the system without compromising the performance, the stability, and maintainability. It also makes tracking changes in the system state easier. Thus, we implemented it. Now, let's create a product. As stated earlier, the categories are connected to the products database because they are necessary to be able to create a product. We will have to fill up all of this to be able to continue. Now, look at this section. This is where we can allocate product sizes. We can have as many sizes as we want. We can also remove them. You are prompted to select a size, location, and input a quantity. Please take note that since this is an inventory, we do have a safety level assigned to the system. To show this feature, let's try putting a quantity of 5. The safety level is 10. Now let's click on the show button. As you can see, an alert has popped up stating that the product is below the safety level. There is also a notification tab on the navbar that notifies the admin about the products who has no stocks left and about the products who has a stock lower than the safety level. It also notifies the admin about the expired products. These notifications allows the admin to click on a button to execute a function. Now, let's go back to the product section to generate a report. You can generate a report based to your liking. You can sort, search, and even click on buttons to generate a report created today, this month, or this week. Now, let's move on to the Add Stock section. This page was made with the use of a Vue.js component. As you can see, we were able to use and apply components in the blade file. And with that, we will be able to see the layout of the view file in the system once it is executed. The data were also stored in the database with the help of Vuex. We made it that way so that it would be easier for us, developers, to track whether the data we are entering are being read and stored by the system correctly. This section is also accessible in the notifications panel. Let's try adding a stock on a product that has a stock quantity lower than the safety level. After doing so, let's go to the stock history. As you can see, the change has been recorded. This section also has a Generate Report button wherein you can print the said report. Notice that it doesn't have any modification features. This is to preserve the authenticity and accuracy of the history reports. If you look into the activity logs, all of the changes that we have made recently has also been recorded.
Similarly to the Add Stock section, this section was made with Vue.js and has used different props and components with the use of Vuex to make it work efficiently in handling the data being inserted to the system and database, and also for showing all the necessary information that the user needs to fill out. This section is made specifically for inputting the products that have been dispatched for the employees to use. If you insert a product here, the stock quantity of the chosen size will decrease. After doing so, it should be recorded in the dispatch history report and the activity logs. Let me demonstrate. This section is also made with Vue.js and is working perfectly well because of the implementation of Vuex and other Vue.js frameworks. With that being said, showing the input layout and data storing would be efficient, and we would be able to track whether the user's inputs are stored properly. As stated in the initial presentation, some vaccine centers, most especially the mobile vaccine centers, separate their departments into groups that will go to different barangays to do their jobs. Because of the fact that they will actually need to move away from the main office, they have to gather the necessary materials before going to their designated location. However, as we all know, not all of these products are used in a single day. For example, you dispatch 100 Pfizer vaccines for Group A. However, Group A was only able to use 50 of them. We have to actually record it in the system so we can return exactly 50 stock quantities in the system. This feature will allow more efficient way of managing the inventory rather than just keeping it in the storage. Unlike the dispatch product, if you input a product here, the stock quantity will increase. As the super admin of the system, we can also see the branch view of the system. Let's go to the City Hall branch view. As you can see, the admin can only see the history reports made in the said branch. Thus, we can see the information that is made or assigned for this branch. As you can see, we have the employees side wherein they can only see employees working on their branches. The managers are also not allowed to directly delete an employee. This is to prevent incidents wherein an employee is deleted accidentally. They can only create and update. Let me demonstrate. Let's move on to the products. As you can see, there are no modification features simply because of the fact that they don't have this type of privilege. But they can click on Show and Generate Reports. The report will only show the products and stocks made for the said branch to use. Thus, they can't access the stocks made for the other branch to use. Now, let's look into the reports. The pending reports are where your reports are supposed to be stored. There is no printing option because once it has been fulfilled or denied, the request will also be removed from this table. Now, the dispatch and return history are history made based on the input made by the managers in their side of the system. They can also generate reports of the modifications made in their side of the system. This is the dashboard view of the system. Pretty similar to the super admin side, right? The only difference is that the reports generated are based on the branch itself. The same thing applies to the other branch view.
Now, let's go back to the super admin side. If you click on this hyperlink, you will be redirected to the About section, which is similar to all of the About section of all the sides of the system. It contains a basic description, a Google map that you can maximize, minimize, toggle, pin, and get directions with. We also have the developer's profile. Since we discussed the City Hall Center in the admin view, we will use the Mobile Vaccine Center site to actually demonstrate how the branches work. Now that we're here, let's try another security feature. We can go back to the previous pages even if we type in the link of the Super Admin dashboard page. We just get redirected back to the dashboard page of the branch that we are working in. So as you can see, it has a very similar interface with the other branches. The only difference is that the only information you can access in this branch is the information made or designated in the Mobile Vaccine Center. Here, if you go to the Employee section, the manager can only create and edit a profile which still has to be verified when that account logs into the system. If you go to the product inventory, you are not allowed to do anything except viewing the product description and generating a report that is connected to the said branch. Just like the other pages, we used Vuex components and props to make this work perfectly. First of all, in the app.js, we named the view component by using City Hall Request Manage or Mobile Request Manage in the location of the view component. After that, in the request blade file, we call the name that we have created in the app.js to incorporate the Vue.js file. The first mutation we're committing is City Hall Submit Request or Mobile Submit Request, which will submit the request of the user or set the City Hall request and Mobile Hall request with the response we get from our API call. The first mutation types.js sets your mutation, while action types.js is for getting the mutation. Now, let's move on to our application. Unlike the super admin, the managers can only request for a stock quantity. This is to implement an access control. Thus, once you enter information in the section, the product stock quantity and the stock history found in the super admin side will not get affected. In fact, the input will be stored in the pending request and can be seen in the admin side through the pending request section where the super admin can choose to either fulfill or deny a request. For this method, the super admin must delete the request that he or she doesn't want to fulfill. After doing so, they can click on the fulfill button and all of the requests remaining will be fulfilled. After doing so, the product stock quantities and also the stock history will reflect the changes made because of these actions. You can also see this in the activity logs and in the stock history. You can see the branch of the manager who requested it as well. To add up on that, since this is the Mobile Vaccine Center site, the manager is not allowed to input a stock quantity in a sites allocated for other branch to use. If you input a stock quantity on the other branch, these inputs will not be recorded and it will show you a warning alert that you are not allowed to do this action.
Similar to the super admin side, these sections were made with the use of Vuex components and props. These are dynamic functions and pages which were implemented in a Blade PHP file. In here, there's also a mutation that we're committing, which is submit dispatched product or submit return product, which will submit the information that the user has entered once he or she has clicked the submit button. This is possible as the mutation types.js sets the mutation while the action types.js gets the mutation. In order to incorporate the file, we named the view component and the location of the view component in the app.js, and then we call the name that we have created in the app.js. It has the same concept. If you input the stock quantity in the dispatch section, the stock quantity will decrease. If you return a stock quantity, your stock will increase. As stated earlier, you can't insert a stock quantity in a side designated for the other branch. If you do, a warning alert will show. Allow me to demonstrate.
Now that we're done with that, let's go back to the super admin side and discuss the safety levels. Let's try to input a dispatch stock quantity. Let's try emptying out a stock quantity. If you go to the notifications panel, you'll see a danger notification prompting you to add a stock now. If you ask us why we allow the stock to be emptied out, the reason is because as long as the existing stock can suffice the needs of the people, we should still give and disseminate these products. Also, imagine if the stock cannot be emptied out. There will be a lot of products stored in their office which cannot be dispatched. Thus, they are wasting more resources with that practice, and the best thing we can do about that is to notify them and such. Let's go back to the dispatch section and try inputting a quantity higher than the existing stock. If you do this, an alert will be displayed saying that there's not enough stock quantity to do.
Now, let's try editing an item and set it as an expired product. Doing that, it should then reflect in the list of expired products. We can access that list through clicking the notification button and then pressing the red button on the upper right corner of the workspace, named Expired Products. After doing that, the list of expired products would be displayed to the users, and now we will be able to see the item that we modified earlier being listed as an expired product. With that, the user will be able to delete the product now through the Delete button under the Actions column. This feature was added by the developers in order to prevent the users from distributing products that are already beyond the allowed date for consuming the products. Most especially the vaccine, since it could cause further sickness or injury to people. We made this feature so that the super admin could have easy access to the information that needs immediate attention, and in this case, they are the notifications for stock levels and expired products.
The COVID vaccine inventory system is a system specifically designed with the purpose of creating a system that will surely fit in the pandemic. The system offers an easy and efficient way of managing the inventory of vaccines, masks, face shields, and other personal protective equipment. There are a lot of features in this system such as the following. In the super admin side, the admin can add, edit, and delete an employee, category, size, and brand. He can also add, edit, delete, and show the product. Aside from that, the admin can add stocks, dispatch products, and return products. The admin can also view the history that the admins have made in the stocks, dispatch, and return products. The super admin can view the location pinned on the map of the two subsidiaries as well as monitor the events that are happening in the City Hall Center and in the Mobile Vaccine Center. They are also capable of denying or fulfilling the request stocks of the City Hall Center and Mobile Vaccine Center. The super admin can see the most recent products in the dashboard along with the daily, weekly, monthly, and summary reports of the products. They can also get notified if the safety level of the stocks are below 10 or emptied out, and if there's an expired product to alert them. Last but not the least, they can also print out the daily, weekly, and monthly report so that they can have a hard copy since the application needs an internet connection.
Meanwhile, the subsidiaries can only add and edit employees at their own respective subsidiaries, and they can also view their location that's pinned on the map. When it comes to the stocks, they can only request a stock, which means that the super admin should first approve the request in order to them to have the said stocks. In addition, they can also change the value and view the history of the dispatch products and return products. Aside from that, in the dashboard panel, they can also view the most recent products along with the daily, weekly, monthly, and summary report of the respective branches. Just like the super admin, they can also print out the daily, weekly, and monthly report. Overall, we created CVIS with the use of dynamic interfaces by combining Vue.js, Vuex, and Livewire, which made the system even more efficient to use.